what you're doing now is your fallback plan. Like
Mm,
if you're listening to this podcast, you're already thinking about it. I mean, yeah, you have to do some preparation, but at the end of the day, I think living with the regret of not going after something that you really want and believe you can do because you're scared of leaving the job that you currently have is just the wrong way to think about it. It's more like you've got one life to live. And if you always want to be an entrepreneur and go and flip houses or start your wholesaling business rather than work in a cubicle, I think that's never gonna leave you unless you give it a shot.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds. And you know what I'm going to say? I am super excited to be here today. Excited about my guest. He's going to tell you about building some ADUs. And I'm excited for him to tell you about it. If you don't know, I'm going to let him tell you. A lot of you, I'm sure, do know, but those that don't, he's going to fill us in. I'm excited about what this guy's doing. Like, he want to bring in the right investors. And he knows what he's doing. And I'm excited for us to get a chance to peek through his lens. And so I just want to introduce you all to Mr. Mark Doty. Mr. Mark, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good. Thanks, Q. I'm glad to be here. Happy to have a little chat with you about investing in California.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the viewers to get to know what you're doing. So look, man, I want you to take us into your world. I want you to tell us what your main focus is these days. If you want to give us a little bit of an origin story, how you got started, we love origin stories. And you already told us what market you're operating in, man. So listen, take us away, Mark. Fill us in on what you're doing, man.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So I got started doing development projects in San Diego about 5 or 6 years ago. I grew up in the Midwest, came out to San Diego, and I was working a W-2 job as a medical device rep for a long time, moved up through the ranks, did really well. And then my company went through an organization, which is a huge company that everyone has heard of, but they're a big company that went through a reorganization. And in that, I got shuffled into a new position that paid way less. So a big pay reduction. And it just kind of like shook my world. At that time, I'm married. I got 3 little kids they weren't all even in elementary school yet. So they're still young, but I have all these bills to pay with daycare and stuff. And then I'm taking a pay cut.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
From my corporate job, and I was just like, this is not the answer. I've done a great job in the corporate world, but if I move out of this job, if I'm unhappy and decide I want to quit and move somewhere else, it's going to be another major medical device company that can go through the same kind of restructuring. And I just felt like I didn't have any power over what I was doing. So I started looking into things. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like probably a million other people that you've talked to. That planted a seed. I started looking into different kinds of real estate that I could do, whether that's like value add multifamily or flipping or wholesaling or self storage, like all the things. And I came to the conclusion that I didn't want to do projects outside of my market. I didn't want to go to, like, I went to college in Missouri, but I didn't want to go to Kansas City as a multifamily market because I didn't have a team. I didn't have boots on the ground that would be able to manage the project and people that I would know and trust and be able to walk by and really like learn how to do the model. So I focused on San Diego and the projects that work in San Diego with the $1 million price point and then the rent ratios that go along with that. Like, you don't get regular cash flow that you could, I mean, this is 5 years ago also, so there's been a change there. But like 5 years ago, you weren't getting the kind of cash flow in San Diego that would make it pencil to do any of those other models. So what I fell into is accessory dwelling units. And what that is it's infill development. Um, and the rationale behind what that means is so California, San Diego specifically, is landlocked. You've got the ocean, you've got Mexico, you've got mountains, and then you have a big military installation called Camp Pendleton up north. So it's locked into a small geography, and there's no more land where you can build. There's no urban sprawl in San Diego metro because it's all blocked in. So, but we still have population growth. So there's a housing crisis here. Pricing is out of control. Rent is out of control. And what the state has done is it's passed regulations that allow for infill development, which is where the ADUs come from. They said that on almost any piece of property, you can build 2 or sometimes 3 and more, depending on the zoning of these small apartments on the land. So an ADU is uses all of the same infrastructure, the electricity, the sewer, the water from the city, but it goes onto the same property. So you build like a little house, a little granny flat, a casita, these small apartments on the same plot of land, and they're called ADUs. So that is a model that works in San Diego, that doesn't work in a lot of other pieces of other parts of the land, but that's kind of the model that I've fallen into. I'll give you a minute there. I talked for a minute. I'm not even positive I answered your question. That's kind of like where I am today, though. I've been doing this for about 5 years. I've completed 12 projects. I'm on a path from going from like a $2 million purchase price, and I'm turning 4 properties into $15 million of ARV. So big jump in construction. And then the goal for the next few years is to go from 15 million in asset value to 50 million. So that was a lot. I'll kind of take my breath or pause and take a breath.
I appreciate you, Mark, but no, you absolutely answered the question in a very succinct way, in a very way that let us know exactly what you're doing and took us along the journey with you. And so you answered it just right, man. I think my next question for you would be, what are some of the key strategies that you do to kind of keep that machine running smoothly?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So these are like pretty complicated projects. The team is the most important aspect. So in what I'm doing, I mean, I learned all of this stuff by making mistakes, but it's
Mm,
hiring the right kind of person. So an architect is not an architect and they just do all projects. So you have to find like architects, designers, engineering people who do ADUs. You have to find construction crews that are used to doing ground up construction and
mm,
heavy rehabs. So for my part of it, it's just finding the right people who have experience doing the kind of projects that I've done, and
yeah,
then finding the capital to be able to complete these projects. They're capital intensive, and when you're doing 4 or 5 or 6 projects at a time, you run out of your own money real fast. So bringing on other people who want to invest in kind of projects like this is another one of the bottlenecks that I run into. But the two keys are capital and then the right team.
understood, man. No, I hear it, and I love how you said you kind of learn kind of about like trial and error. And so I always tell people when we get on the podcast that there is a process to success. There's times when things get real, when deals go sideways, times when you have to pivot fast. These are the process of the journey to success. And so I was just wondering, are there any stories that you can share about times when things kind of got real for you? You had to pivot fast.
Yeah, I can give you a couple quick stories. I could the one that seems like it resonates with just everybody is that there's problems on every project. And
Mm,
you don't know, you can't project what's inside the walls of a house. Whether you're doing a flip, like you don't know what's in there. You don't know if there's mold or asbestos or whatever. Like you can't tell until you're into the project. So you always have to have additional capital that you'll be able to tap into when you need it. And the way that I tapped into that initially is I set up a HELOC on my primary residence so that I had a way more budget that I needed, and I ran into problems on my first project. The first one that I bought was in San Diego. It was a duplex that I was turning into a triplex. So I was adding a unit from a bonus room. And after we had rehabbed the unit 1 and unit 2, and we're blocking off and preparing to turn unit 3 into the third unit, not just an extra bedroom, COVID hit. Okay,
mm,
so COVID
yeah,
hits, and we don't know whether or not we're able to have our contractors on site, or we're all going to die because of this, new thing that's coming through. It slowed down the city's entitlement process. It slowed down our contractors, and then that was where some of the learning came about hiring the wrong team. I
yeah,
hired the wrong architect who knew how to do an addition onto your house, but didn't know how to turn that addition into an apartment using the city's ADU regulation. So it's like I learned a bunch on that project. The 1 year timeline turned into 2 years pretty quickly. And the thing that saved me on the project was that I had set up the financing beforehand and was able to sustain through those cost overruns, time overruns. But yeah, man, like that's why I say things like, yeah, you just have to have guys that have experience in your niche, because they're not all the same
yeah,
in any of those fields.
yeah. Nah, man. Listen, sir. Thank you for sharing, and I hear you 100%. You got to have the people, like you said, that are experienced in your field, and I thank you for, man, just even just sharing the story. I really appreciate it. Now I heard you very clear, man. I know you trying to go grow into that 15 million in asset, then you want to take it to 50 million in asset. So I know that are some of your goals, but are there any other goals, real goals that you want to lay out for your business and what you're doing?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I mean, for the business, that's really it. It's just like to scale up. We've gotten to a point where we know what kind of projects we're looking for. We're outsourcing a lot of those functions. So bringing those in-house, like that's a scary early step in entrepreneurship is hiring people. And
Yeah.
I've been able to I've hired some people and they haven't worked out. And it's like you feel like you wasted all this time and energy to bring people on board. So I would say, yeah, there's the asset value, but it's growing the group of investors and it's growing the team so that we've got a more reliable workflow when we find one of these projects.
Love it, man. I'm sorry for the long pause. I was just writing down something that you said about growing the investor, and I hear you. And that, that kind of lead me to relationships, and I would love to get your thought on building relationships. So I guess I'll ask the question this way: when it comes to building relationships and growing your network, what has made the biggest difference for you?
Well, on the in the early stages, it was just getting out there. It was
Mm,
getting out there and going to meetups. So you can only read so many books and listen to so many podcasts and see YouTube University. You can only do that for so long. I think that's a necessary part of everybody's development when they're early in this thing. But then you have to like take some steps to grow. The first steps are going to meetups and starting to talk to real humans and getting on the phone with agents and making offers and like figuring out that you do know what you're talking about. And then my growth from there was getting into paid masterminds, which I was completely turned off on in the early stages. I was listening to Brandon Turner and Bigger Pockets, where they were all very anti mentorship, anti guru, which I think makes sense when you're early. You can learn a lot of that stuff on YouTube, but then eventually you've got to make relationships with people that know what they're doing. And those people aren't going to free meetups. They're not wasting time figuring out if they understand the talk tracks because they're busy. So they're looking for to build their crew, and they're looking for people who have passed through those first few stages. So, like for me, that's been in masterminds. I've been in 3 different masterminds and they're key in stages, but like the same thing I would say about building your team would apply to masterminds is make sure that there's people in that group that are who you want to be when you grow up.
mm,
I've been in some where so like I started on in a mastermind that was specific to wholesaling and house flipping, which
yeah,
was really impactful on me leaving my W-2 job to do this because these were people who had done the same thing. They had left their job and now they're doing it for real. They're really doing it, but none of them are doing ADU development or
yeah,
infill development. Like they don't know what entitlement and stuff is.
yeah.
So I moved to another mastermind that has more of a focus on what I want to be and have as part of my business. So I think like just make sure that you're joining groups that are filled with people that you'll connect with that are doing what you want to do. Whether or
Yeah.
not you're there yet, that is less important than the role models are present in that group, is what I would say about that.
Absolutely, man. Love that relationships are everything in this space. And I think what you just laid out and how it's masterminds have been beneficial for you, I think that's a good nugget for the people that's listening on how to grow their business, on how to grow their niche. And I love how you said just doing your due diligence, making sure the room has exactly what you need. And so I absolutely love that. And so listen, man, I want to give you a chance right here because I love your perspective. I love the way you're talking, the way you think. Is there any other advice, encouragement, inspiration maybe you want to give to our viewers about entrepreneurship or specifically about ADUs? Like, I want to open the floor up to you to really just inspire people if there's something that's on your mind.
I think overall, from an inspirational standpoint, there are people in the audience that are just scared to get started, and I think that's the scariest thing. So I worked really hard to make it up to like the income that I had at my job, and like every year I was trying to make more money and getting more security, stability. I had a bunch of mouths to feed. I had like expensive lifestyle stuff. So I was terrified to leave my job, but I think looking back on it, the thing that made me jump ship and decide to do it was that I would always like live with that regret if I didn't pull the trigger and and jump. Um, and and let's say everything went sideways and I couldn't figure it out and I crashed and burned. I could still go back to my job. I mean, I got 15 years of corporate excellent sales experience. Like what I was doing, and I would say to the listener, what you're doing now is your fallback plan. Like
Mm,
if you're listening to this podcast, you're already thinking about it. I mean, yeah, you have to do some preparation, but at the end of the day, I think living with the regret of not going after something that you really want and believe you can do because you're scared of leaving the job that you currently have is just the wrong way to think about it. It's more
yeah,
like you've got one life to live. And if you always want to be an entrepreneur and go and flip houses or start your wholesaling business rather than work in a cubicle, I think that's never gonna leave you unless you give it a shot. And if you fail, you can go get the same job that you have now. Most
yeah,
likely. I think the worst case scenario is really not that bad for anybody.
yeah, yeah. Listen, man, I love it. Thank you so much. I think I love what you're saying. I love how you said what you're doing right now. That's the fallback plan. And I mean, and you've been doing that for years. Now it's like take the leap. Like, what's the next step? You already got the fallback plan in place. What's the next step? And so I love everything that you said, man. Listen, Mr. Mark, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you, learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, sir?
Yeah, that's great. I've got a Doty Capital. Doty Capital Group is my website. LinkedIn is probably the best way to find me. Mark Doty, Doty is my handle on LinkedIn. Connect there, send a message. There are generally two people that I'm looking for. So I come onto a podcast, kind of like I like spreading the message that your worst case scenario is really probably what you're doing now. I think that's a good message for people to hear. But then I'm looking for two groups of people. I'm looking for people who want to put money to work, be private and passive investors on projects like this in San Diego, which is not a huge group. It's a kind of unusual model. And then the other group would be people who want to do projects like this and are looking to learn. There's a pathway for either one of those people in my business. Those are the people that I'm looking for in kind of putting the word out on podcasts like this one. But LinkedIn is probably the best way to make the initial connection and to figure out what kind of projects I'm doing and, like what I'm all about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, there he is, Mr. Mark Doty, sir. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your perspective. It has really been great having you here and just the value that you've given our audience. I know is people really going to take a great deal away from this. So again, thank you so much, man.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, listen, y'all heard Mr. Mark. You got the value. Go ahead and subscribe. That way you can come in once the shows are live. I greatly appreciate you, Mr. Mark. And to everyone else, we will see you on the next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.